So yeah, I'm gonna talk about all the things that I love about No, I'm Not a Human. It's my favorite game of all time, and I truly believe it's one of the best games ever created, but that's also because I'm biased. So yeah, I'm just gonna read it from my notes app because I've written a whole bunch of stuff. Of course, I'm gonna try to like add things here and there that aren't scripted. It'll be easier for me to read from my notes app because I'll stay on track. You catch my drift? You swallowing what I'm throwing up? Yeah, so let's get right into it. Alright, so first of all, we have the game style. Now, I haven't really played a wide variety of games, but among the games I've seen and played in my lifetime, No, I'm Not a Human has one of the most unique styles I've ever seen. I adore how this game looks. The characters, don't even get me started about the characters. They look so cool, so unique. I don't even know how the creators of the game made the characters look that way. And not only the characters, but the rest of the game too. The colors, the way the house and the rooms in the house look, the text boxes, the artwork and the endings, the news reporters, the TV. The whole game is visually fascinating to me. Let me go on a side tangent about the character designs. The characters in this game aren't conventionally or like traditionally attractive. All of them look funky in some way, but that's what makes them so good, you know? They aren't made to be visually appealing. They're more realistic, meant to make you a bit, like, uncomfortable, meant to make you question things. Like, in the game, you're trying to figure out who's a human and who's a visitor, but it makes it so difficult because all of the characters look strange. All of them look like they could be a visitor, they could be a human. It makes things confusing, but that's good. And all of them look different, which I love. No same-face syndrome or anything like that in the game. Now, I will say, there isn't much variety in races of the characters, like, there's not a lot of different skin colors. Most of them are white. But to be fair, the game takes place in post-Soviet Russia, which was like in the 90s. And Russia has mostly white people. Anyways, as I was saying, I just adore the way the characters look, basically. Also, I find it funny that people still manage to find these characters attractive, including me. Even when I'm sure a majority of them aren't supposed to be. Like, and that doesn't include Seductive Woman. Her name literally has the word seductive in it. She's very pretty. I know in the game dialogue, the player can tell her she looks weird, but still, I think she's pretty. I'm also a bit gay, so whatever. And I can't forget about the pale visitor. Look at this guy. He looks so weird. He's creepy. But look in a comment section under a post about him, anywhere online, and you're bound to find people saying things about him. Odd things. I love Pale Visitor. I think he's cool looking, but God, calm down, people, calm down! I'll talk more about Pale Visitor later. He will have his own section of the video, yeah. Next, we have the characters' personalities. So along with their very unique designs, all of the characters have, like, different personalities and stories and ways of talking. Like, some speak in what seems like a southern accent, some seem British, some seem to just have a regular American accent, I guess more northern, I don't know. Some speak like cavemen, cat lady. Some are very smart, some sound insane, majority of them sound insane. Some sound depressed, some sound hopeful, some sound childish, some sound cryptic, especially the Pale Visitor. Some are mean, some are kind. There's so much variety when it comes to the people in this game, and I love it. Then we have how realistic the game is. Now, I wrote a whole ton in my notes app about this, so this might take me a second to talk about. I'm sorry. I wrote a lot. I have a lot of thoughts about this. So, like, this game is so realistic with a lot of things, like character designs, personalities, the world outside in the game, the government in the game, the way that people react to the cataclysm, which means disaster. Before No, I'm Not a Human, I didn't know what cataclysm meant, so I'm just saying that's what it means. It means a disaster. Anyways, also the censorship of the people, etc., etc. I feel like even though we play the game from the perspective of a man who never leaves home, we still manage to learn a lot even in that limited space. And what we learn, in my opinion, seems to be realistic. Like, I think the way people are in the game is definitely how people in reality would act too in that situation, in the game situation with, you know, the sun burning everything down and visitors crawling around. The mass panic and hysteria, the pessimism, the negativity, the desperation, the anger. Now, No, I'm Not a Human does take place in post-Soviet Russia, as I said earlier. And like I said earlier, that was in the 90s, I believe. And of course, in the 90s, social media wasn't a thing. Not everyone had a device like a computer or cell phone. In the game, the protagonist literally doesn't know what a computer is. Oh, that explains a lot. You're not on good terms with your house spirit. That's why the visitor spirit came. But no worries, we can work with this. Do you have a personal computer at home? A personal what? You seriously don't know what a computer is? Okay, never mind, moving on. Also, I want to add, I'm a very late Gen Z kid. I'm right on the fence between Gen Z and Gen Alpha. I'm a teenager. So I'm just using what I know about the 90s. So I'm probably wrong about some of this, and I'm sorry. Anyways, sorry I got carried away. What I was trying to say is, since the game takes place in the 90s, and there wasn't social media back then, that definitely changes things. Because if the game took place in modern day, people would have phones and social media. And we all know that social media changes how people react to things all the time. My point is, though the game is realistic to how people in reality would react to a situation like the one in the game, in my opinion, I do know that people nowadays with social media would definitely act differently than the characters in the game. Without social media, yeah, the characters in the game act how people in real life would act. Anyways, but yeah, the game is definitely realistic with most things, like the way the characters are so negative, that's realistic. The way people are censored from talking about what they think, that's realistic. Theme of being sketchy, the mass panic among the public, the sun's effect on the world, blah blah blah. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in this game that I think is realistic to the real world that we live in. You get what I'm saying. This is all excluding the whole situation with the visitors and the otherworldly entities and fictional elements of the game, of course. Obviously, those aren't realistic to real life. Now I want to talk about the game's energy. I love how oddly calm and quiet and sad the game is. I feel like most popular games are very action-packed, very fast, very loud, very energetic. A lot of games have like jump scares or a bunch of quests to do, or bright colors or fast movements or loud music, or, you know, just very energetic and loud elements to them. That's not a problem. I like some games like that. A ton of people do. Of course, people like fast and energetic and fun games. It makes sense. I'm not dissing on that, but I really enjoy how calm No, I'm Not a Human is. The colors, the style, the endings, the soundtrack. I'll have a whole rant about the soundtrack later. The protagonist's attitude about things, all of it is very calm, which I like for many reasons. For one, I like games that have a slower pace. My mind doesn't really do well with processing fast games, so I like how No, I'm Not a Human takes things a bit more slow. Also, I think it's interesting how the game manages to have such a calm and sad and like quiet energy to it, even when the situation in the game is quite stressful and like really tense. I think it's an interesting contrast. Like, if I were the protagonist of the game, I'd be on the edge all the time and freaking out and just not calm at all. So I like the unique contrast between the calm vibe and tense situation of the game. I feel like it's kind of refreshing. I also like the game's low energy because it really shows us, the players, how the protagonist that we're playing as sees the world. Like, you can tell he's depressed and isolates himself and sees the whole thing, the whole situation as tiring and annoying. The music, the colors, the way the protagonist speaks, the endings, it all shows us how the protagonist sees things, and I really love that. Plus, like, it's just nice to have a low energy game. If you don't feel like playing something super energetic, No, I'm Not a Human is definitely a good, calmer choice. Very calming music and colors. It's just relaxing to me. Speaking of music, the soundtrack. I adore this game's soundtrack. It's lovely. I find it very unique, and it has such an effect on the game's overall vibe and emotion. You know, music has a large effect on, you know, movies, TV shows, video games. The main music, like the music that plays the most during gameplay, is like sad sounding, I guess. It reminds me of being hopeless or depressed or anything in that category. Just negative overall. But the music does change for certain situations, like when the pale visitor is at your door. My goat. The music changes to a very tense, eerie tone. And when the vigilante's at your door, the music changes to a once again tense and eerie feeling, but to me, the vigilante's music is more tense than the pale visitors. Like, when I hear the vigilante's music, personally, I feel incredibly on edge. I feel like I'm actually standing there talking to the vigilante, being worried that he'll think I'm a visitor and kill me. Like, it really pulls me into the game, if that makes sense. The vigilante's theme to me is just so good because of how immersive it is. But that's just me. I don't know how other people feel about it. There's also the Prophet's theme, which I think is definitely one of the more positive sounding songs in the game. Has a faster pace, just sounds more hopeful. Makes me feel like the Prophet is less negative than the other characters. Like, he's there to help. Like, he speaks in a confusing and weird way, but the music makes it feel more comfortable. Like, maybe the Prophet is helping us, I guess. I mean, he does give us advice and stuff, so it makes sense. Anyways, and there's a couple other more positive sounding songs, like Peace of Mind, the intro song. Feels like the quiet before the storm, I guess, like how things were before the cataclysm. Then there's the menu song called Uncertain Mind. Though it's also more positive sounding than most of the game songs, it definitely does give an uncertain feeling, so the title of it makes sense. There's also Hurry Up, They're Growing, the Mushroom Man song. This one is very mystical sounding in my opinion. It doesn't sound positive to me, but it also doesn't sound negative. It's just odd, but I like it. Then there's How They're Growing. It's also one of the Mushroom Man songs, which plays in one of the endings with him. That one is quite positive sounding to me. I listen to it sometimes when I'm drawing or doing stuff around the house. The most positive and energetic song in the game is the ending credits song called Nowhere Around. I love this song. I also listen to this in the background when I'm doing stuff sometimes. It's much faster paced and energetic, but still matches the vibe with the game somehow, and I love it. And aside from those few positive sounding songs, this game has a very gloomy soundtrack, which isn't a bad thing. Its gloominess is very fitting to the game in my opinion. I like how as the days and nights go on through the game, the music changes. Like, as you get further into the game, the music at night gets slower and lower pitched, and it sounds much sadder and kinda creepy to me. At some point, the night and day themes change to a whole new song, which to me is even sadder sounding. The song that they changed to, the song is literally called Self-Isolation. Definitely depressing, but again, it's fitting. Also, I didn't include FEMA's music from the game because, quite frankly, I don't like FEMA. I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to like FEMA anyway, so whatever. Just note that FEMA also has their own music when they're at your doorstep in the game, and it's definitely spooky, I guess. I don't know. Of course, I appreciate FEMA for their role in the game and in the story, but other than that, I hate seeing them at my door. Bring back the ones you took! I really love the storyline of No, I'm Not a Human. You know, the sun's reaching record high levels of heat, causing natural disasters, and killing people if they go out during the day, and possibly turning people into visitors. Speaking of visitors, I find the concept of visitors to be so interesting. I mean, of course it isn't the most original concept in the world. Visitors are basically skinwalkers, or mimics, or whatever you want to call them. There's lots of stories about skinwalkers and creatures like them out there, but I don't know, the visitors are just different to me. Like, they come up out of the ground? Are they zombies or something undead? Where do they even come from? What makes someone a visitor? Is it a virus? Were visitors an already existing species? Does the sun turn people into visitors? Are they related to the sun in some way? Okay, I'm sorry. I just have so many questions about the visitors. It's never truly explained what they are or where they came from. but I think that just makes things more interesting, really. Like, when things in a story aren't fully explained, but explained just enough to leave some mystery, it makes the story interesting. It leaves you wondering, you know? And it results in a bunch of fan theories, and I love fan theories. And that doesn't only apply to the visitors. There's mystery behind most things in No, I'm Not a Human. Like the protagonist, for example. We get a little bit of information about him, but his story is never fully explained. Or, for another example, the Pale Visitor. He's almost completely a mystery to me. Like, okay, why does this guy look so much different from the other visitors? What makes him special? We know that he was once a human. What was he like as a human? How did he become a visitor? Who is his leader, since apparently there's something or someone giving him orders? So many questions. And we don't even get to know any of the characters' names. Just loads of mystery to this game. I know I was talking about how I like the storyline of No, I'm Not a Human, and I still stand by that statement, but I guess what I love about it so much is its mystery. It's so fascinating to me. Literally everything in this game fascinates me. Then, finally, we have the Pale Visitor. Now, this will be the final thing I'll talk about in this video, the Pale Visitor. I told you he'd have his own section in the video. He's my favorite character, of course, so I had to make a section for him. Like, I don't know what it is about this guy. As I said earlier, he's just so mysterious. He speaks so weirdly, like he leaves you confused about what he said to you. For example, in the game, he says, "And now one of your ilk is deathless," all because of a word. One single word. But what a word it is. You know who I mean, yes? No, I don't know what you mean. What are you talking about? Honestly, his entire script in the game is so interesting. I love when characters have unique ways of speaking, even if it's confusing. And the way he extends his words, it's such a small detail, but I love it. Like, nobody else in the game does that, really. Or, not that I've seen, at least. And I find his personality to be very interesting, too. He's clever, I guess you could say. And he's so creepy. Why are you standing outside of my window with a human skull in your hands, bro? Hell no! Also, I think it's interesting how he only goes for people who are home alone. Really, I just think the creators of the game did that so there would be some type of consequence for not letting anyone into your home. But I'd like to believe that there's some unknown creepy reason for it instead. That has to do with the game and the story, you know? And the way the Pale Visitor looks, what on earth? Like I mentioned earlier, people online say atrocious things about this guy. Look at him, look!
Another beautiful day at the crust.
I'm out. You think I'm about to... I'm not watching this! Look! I'm tired of it.
Seriously though, I do love the way he looks. It's unique in my opinion. I really figured that out through drawing him. Like, when I draw the Pale Visitor, I realize that he has features that I don't often see on other characters. His torso is built weird. It's like wide and bony, and you can see his ribcage almost. And his arms appear to be lanky and bony as well, but to me they also look like they have some muscle on them at least. Then there's his face. His face is especially unique. The amount of folds and wrinkles and all the kinds of weird stuff on his face is so interesting to me. He looks almost chubby. But then you look at his body, and he isn't chubby at all. And when you see him outside, he's especially not chubby. And the same goes for his 3D model. Also, I want to say, his face, the image of him doing that really big, creepy smile, that was inspired by a character called Judge Holden. So, of course, his face isn't completely... The Pale Visitor's face isn't completely original, because they got it from another character, but... you know, mixed with all of his other features, I think the Pale Visitor is still pretty unique. This can probably be explained by the fact that his skin doesn't really fit correctly on him. Some people say he wears the skin of others. Others seem to believe that he just grew that way after becoming a visitor. But who knows? Again, it's all a mystery. And I think it's interesting how often he comes to the protagonist's door specifically, always coming and asking protag odd questions and saying such confusing things, making conversation with the protagonist. Sometimes it seems like he genuinely wants to know more about the protagonist, but then he goes and kills you if you're alone. It's so odd. Why make all that conversation if you're planning on just killing me in the end? It makes me wonder. But yeah, overall, I really love the Pale Visitor. I love how mysterious he is. I feel like I've said mysterious way too many times, but whatever. And I love how so many people in the No, I'm Not a Human fandom have taken interest in him too. It's nice to know that so many people also think the Pale Visitor is cool. Alright, this last part, this voiceover is not scripted, so I hope I don't mess up with my words. Yeah, in conclusion, I adore No, I'm Not a Human. Like, I don't know, there's just so much about it that I love. Like, not even just what I talked about in this video. There is genuinely, like, so much more that I love about this game. Probably just little details and stuff, but I just kind of went over the, you know, the main things, of course. It's such a comforting game to me. Like, whenever, like, I remember the first time playing it, I was like, wow, like, this is just so, like, wonderful. Like, I don't know. It's my comfort game. I really love it. It's probably not the best game out there. Of course, there's probably way better games, but to me, this is just my favorite game. To me, this is the best game, but, you know, that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, this video took a week to make, or like a week or something, so I hope that somebody watches this and enjoys it. Also, I hate that this is over 20 minutes long, but whatever, I hope my phone can handle it. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna go now. Bye-bye.